This podcast was created by fans for fans and is not affiliated with or sponsored by Hallmark or the Hallmark Channel. This is Eric.
This is Sydney.
And this is Hallmark Mysteries.
And more.
And more and more and more and more. So you know what today is?
The day after Juneteenth.
That it is. It's also the day where we're kind of like halfway through the year and we're going to recap all 7 mysteries so far this year.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe it.
From our least favorite to our favorite.
Yes.
Now,
yes.
One of the things I was thinking about was last year, there were 4, right? 4 total. It was the Aurora Tea Garden, the final Aurora Tea Garden one.
Uh-huh.
The Cut Color Murder, Francesca, and Nikki and Nora. Was there another one? Oh, there was a grilling or a Curious Caterer. So maybe there's 5.
Yeah. The chocolate one.
Yeah, dying for chocolate. So there were 5. And we've already had 7. We know we've got at least 2 more. No, 3 more.
3 more.
Well, no, I don't know when the new, because you know how Andrew announced that the new
oh yes,
Curious Caterers, but who knows when those are actually coming out.
Yeah, the
I do know
strike. Yeah.
I do know that we know the writer of one of them.
You gonna share that?
Well, I think people can guess. I'm not sure if we're allowed to say it.
Oh, okay.
But there's a strike going on, so it doesn't matter. So nothing's getting written.
Yeah. Ah, darn. But at least we know the Hannah Swanson is getting made. So that one was already written.
The one's getting made. And that was it. There's just the one more that's been guaranteed, right? So we know we'll have some sort of conclusion on that. But I guess we don't have to talk. We can talk about that more when we get to our list. Hey, so one of the things we always do, I'm not sure if you're worse, is we create a cocktail for the episode.
I know it, but ever since I hurt my leg, I've been on the meds that I can't have the cocktails with. So,
well, what fun's that?
Paying attention. I know only 2 more days.
Now, I've heard that the cocktails with the meds just makes it all that much more exciting.
Oh my gosh, I've heard that too. I heard it increases the effects or something. By the way, we're not doctors, and this is not true. So don't anyone.
Well, we haven't said what meds you're on. You could be on like Tylenol.
Yeah. Right? Well,
not even Tylenol PM, just Tylenol.
I know. In lieu of, since we can't have a cocktail tonight, like what should we do, Eric?
I think our listeners should go back, figure out their mystery, since we're reviewing all of them, and pick their favorite mystery, and whatever that one is, that's your cocktail.
Yes. We have a lot of good cocktails out there too.
We do. I think I may actually go for something a little sweet and do that carrot cake. The White Russian with the carrot cake to it. That was pretty delicious.
I'm gonna go for the jalapeno poppers from Mystery Lane. That's not a cocktail I can have those.
That's a good point. Oh, so now you got me thinking jalapeno poppers. Darn it, you did it last time and now you did it again. Jalapeno poppers are just so darn good.
Okay. They're at Jack in the Box or Wiener Schnitzel if you need a quick fix, everyone. So
yeah. I don't know if we have Wiener Schnitzels over here in Phoenix.
That is a travesty.
We do have Jack in the Box, but I don't know. I don't think we do. I've never been to one in my life.
Get out of here.
Even though I was in LA and I knew they were in LA, I've never been to one.
That's terrible.
So, while we completely digress, I do know I'm a very big fan of Taco Bell. Very big fan of Taco Bell.
Well, that's a good one.
But when I was out in LA, we'd have this group of friends and we'd all go out to lunch and we'd like each day someone got to pick where we went and we'd all go. And there was my nemesis because he just loved Del Taco. And I don't know where you stand in Del
Ooh,
Taco, but I hate Del Taco. Taco Bell's so good. Del Taco has that like sauce they put on their tacos, which I don't know what it is. I don't like it.
you
And I
mean
always hated it. Mario, I have not forgiven you to this date. Del Taco's the
wow.
worst.
Mario. So I am one of those weirdos who loves both Taco Bell and Del Taco. And I love both Diet Coke and Diet Pepsi. So when people are at the restaurant, they were like, we only have Pepsi. I'm like, I don't care.
All right. You're so
So
flexible.
I
Maybe
know,
that's
isn't
the
that
drugs
weird?
talking. In 2 days, you'll find out, no, I hate Diet Pepsi. I only like Diet Coke.
I just was saying that to my husband last night. I was like, you know what? I really like Diet Pepsi and I like Diet Coke. Am I a weirdo? I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe. All right. I don't know if everyone knows what happened to you on your honeymoon with your leg. With
I
a week to go, right?
Yeah, I midway through, I ate it on the sidewalk of Lundy Town. Prince Charles was looking out his window and he
Was
saw me just eat
was
it.
it? Were you on cobblestone?
No, so there's like this fancy part of London called Mayfair. And I was walking along, and I think they have crummy streets or crummy sidewalks there. So to make it fancy, they put these like white marble stone looking pavers in. And the paver was not paved in place. So like it teetered, and it was pretty decent size. So like it teeter tottered when I stepped on it. So one ankle went out, and then my knee went straight down onto the stone. And then
Ouch.
I had the girl behind me who was walking along stop and go, oh my God, are you okay? And it was the first time where I was like, usually you're embarrassed. So you're like, oh, yeah, I'm fine. But this time I said, no, I'm not okay. I
Oh, so
can barely
you
move.
knew right away.
Yeah, because usually what you try to get up right away, the minute you fall or something,
Right.
you want to get right up. I couldn't get up. I had to give it like what felt like 5 minutes, but it was really like 1 or 2 minutes. I'm sitting there on the fancy ground,
Wait, so this is literally help. I've fallen and I can't get up?
literally. Give me my life alert because I needed it.
The Sydney Life Alert.
And I hobbled because everywhere has like steps up to their door. So I just hobbled to the next place where there were steps and called an Uber. And I took a big loss on the rest of that day. And then the rest of the trip, I was like ace bandaging.
Wait, so you didn't go to a
The
doctor? You just
I didn't because I don't know what the healthcare, like how I would pay for that over there. I'm not really, if my leg was like broken, I definitely would have had to go to the
well, you
doctor,
showed
but
me the pictures and it was not good.
it looked so gross. I ended up, because I was kind of concerned because there was so much fluid on the knee, I ended up going to the urgent care when I got home. But they said they took x-rays. They said I just had a lot of joint effusion, which is basically to the trauma when your knee hits the ground, or like if you're a basketball player and you fall during the game and your knee hits the ground, a sac of fluid forms around the joint to protect it. And basically, it was just bulbous. It was terrible. It was really unsightly. I felt bad for my husband, but
You know what? I feel bad for you, but I think I prefer when you talk about jalapeno poppers than bulbous.
oh, okay. Bulbous jalapeno poppers. Bulbous.
But I'm glad that you're getting better.
Thank
I'm
you.
glad that you're almost off the meds so we can get you drinking again. But you
Yeah.
were still, well, I guess you weren't on the meds yet over there because I was gonna say you still were sharing some pictures of you
So
enjoying
I,
some
yes.
libations.
because when you're on your honeymoon, everywhere you go, people are like, "Hey, would you like some champagne?" And who am I to look a gift horse in the mouth?
And you only knew how to say oui. You didn't know how to say no in French.
Yeah, and I just instead wouldn't take my anti-inflammatory. I would have champagne, which probably didn't help the situation, but you know,
I heard that's what Marie Antoinette did.
okay, we'll go
So
with that.
let them eat
Yeah,
cake.
and champagne.
Speaking of cake, let's get at it and talk some carrot cake. I don't know where that lands on yours, but let's get into our review. So what we're going to do, there were 7 mysteries, as we mentioned. We will start and we'll just sort of do a little, this was our 7th, and this is what we kind of liked, but this is sort of why it ranked where it did. So we're not going to do, if you want to hear a full review of the movie, we're not doing that today. You can go listen to, the review. We've reviewed all the movies. So we're just going to touch on it and just sort of say why it's in the position it's in.
Yes,
So work for you, Sydney?
works for me.
All right. With that being said, what is your number 7?
My number 7, big shocker here, is the Jane Mysteries, Inheritance Lost. This movie had wicked style. I mean, amazing style. But the story, the mystery, basically every single other facet of it just didn't do it for me. I
Well, you
wasn't sold on
had a
it.
pool scene. I guess it wasn't quite a summer villa pool scene that would have just made up for the rest of the movie, huh?
It wasn't Victor. I will say it was a nice pool scene, but you can't save a movie with just a pool scene. I'm sorry. So that's
Okay.
I don't know. What about you, Eric? Where are you at?
Well, for me, it was a little family history mysteries buried past. The first one of the year. And I have to say though, as we go into all this, there were none that I didn't like. Okay. So even though this was my 7th, I still liked it. I still want to see more. I want to see more of every single one of these. So there wasn't a single one on here where I'm like, oh, can't watch it. Can't,
Mm-hmm.
I can't get past this. Please be one and done. I do want
Yeah.
to see more. I do think they laid out an interesting thing, no dead bodies, but it just, for me, wasn't quite there yet. The actual, we talked about, the mystery was the only one I found actually kind of insulting because of the blind
Oh
guy
yeah, yeah.
who was one state over, who they couldn't find, and just the whole thing. And
Mm-hmm.
just, I just found it a little too bad, but I did like the main characters and I thought there's a lot of potential. And it was also our first one reviewed, so that was kind of fun, but that
Yeah.
nostalgia only goes so far. And like I say,
My
I
gene and
I
tonic only goes so far, Eric.
a
Oh my
gin and
God, my
tonic.
double
I
helix
I
twist.
I can't
Oh,
drink gin, so there we go.
oh, that's right.
But
Never mind. Okay, scratch that.
I will say, I guess here's the question. So this is my number 7. I don't think they're going to make another one though. Do you think they'll
You
make another Jane mystery?
uh I hope not. That's where I'm different from you. I don't want to see another one. I mean, I just wasn't feeling it. There was something about it that just they should have had more of an intro there. There was no intro. I couldn't get invested in these characters. I loved the fashion. I definitely hope that they make another, maybe they could incorporate that type of really cool style into another dancing detective. But I'm kind of like, we'll let that one lay.
But do you
Well,
think they will?
um, I'm gonna say no.
It had pretty bad ratings, I know.
Yeah, you said that. So,
So, okay. So what is your 6?
well, it's family, history, mystery, blistery, mysteries. And it's the same thing you said. I think the acting was strong. The story was not as interesting to me. The mystery, yes, insulting. Um, there were just it just I don't know.
It did have a turquoise phone.
It did have a turquoise phone. I loved her style. I thought Niles Niles style.
Oh, we're Niles. We're going into Frasier now.
Oh my gosh. I thought his style was great. It was so crazy that I think I mentioned in that review about how I remember when I was a teenager and I first saw Niall in a show, and I used to watch Canadian teenage dramas, but it was weird because they were all always taking place in America. So now par for the course with Hallmark movies. But I went back after talking to you about it and I watched the first episode. It's called The Best Years. And I watched the first episode and he's in it. And who do you think also is in it?
Um, Tyler Hines.
No, the mom who was in that movie, the one that was like, I can't find my
Oh,
deceased
his
or my
mom
husband. Uh,
in the
yeah,
right.
yes, she was in it. She played and wasn't his mom in the show, but
Right.
like I'm like, where do they? It's all these people are the same people. Me, I'm like rewatching the same thing.
They really are. When you get into those Canadian, you got that little circle of actors. I was talking to our friend Madison Smith, and I said, "All right, you've done it again. You're another killer. You're not going to be another mystery. We need to get you as the lead so you can be repeating." And I have to figure out who I want to pair you with. And I said, I know, JC, because we love JC Doughton too, Doughton.
Yeah,
And he's like, oh my God, I love her. She's in my like class. And so he like actually like knows her outside of doing any Hallmark movies, just from being in that Vancouver, acting circle. So,
so
all right.
cool.
Well,
You're 6. Yeah,
I
tell
guess you can
us.
probably guess. Mine is the Jane Mysteries. So you
Oh
and I
God.
just sort of flip flop. And the reason why I had Jane Mysteries higher than Family History Mysteries is I just thought that, and we did talk to her, Paris Jefferson and Aunt Sadie. I just
Mhm.
really liked that character, and I decided when I was trying to rank them that of those two shows, that Aunt Sadie character was just my favorite character on both those. So,
Mhm.
and like you said, there was the fashion in it. I'm still just disappointed because we talked about like Stephen Huszar is now his rom coms. He's like in that Prince one coming out this weekend, which I hate. Royalty. Royal Nanny is the
Honestly,
only one I've liked, but
yeah,
I'm not looking forward to it. But in Ruby Herring, I really liked him in it. I thought he did a great job. And
I agree.
I think they just underutilized him. And I think if they would have given him a little bit more like action and really
Mhm.
helped him be like a much more of a supporter mentor to Jane, as opposed to just popping in for 15 seconds and
Yeah,
saying some inane dialogue and then hopping out. I think it would have been far better movie. But
definitely.
so I think they underutilized him. And like I said, the only reason why it's my 6th instead of my 7th is I just really liked that Aunt Sadie character. I thought she was fantastic. And as you said, the fashion was really good.
Yep.
So I went with that.
Yeah.
All right. We're now moving up to 5. What is your 5th?
My 5th is Hannah Swanson Carrot Cake Murder.
What with that cliffhanger, dramatic ending.
I
How?
think you know why this went by the wayside for me. We had quite the brawl. So yes, but I mean obviously it was great to see everyone back. Loved seeing everyone except, I miss the sister. But yeah, I mean other than that, I felt like I didn't love the story. I didn't love the mystery. Uh, and I thought the ending was outrageously ridiculous. I mean, we're talking about a 5-year-old murderer. So, I mean, and nothing like went like how it would,
with a
I just,
with a 7-year-old killer.
yeah. And the idea that he wouldn't have just murdered her and thrown her in the water at the end was that just that's not how it would have really gone. It just was ludicrous, the whole thing. So I can't get over that. And that's why it's not the acting was great, but it had to be pushed down because I just didn't care for the story and the mystery.
Okay.
What about you? What's your
Well,
5?
even though we brawled about it, I've got Hannah Swanson Mysteries, Carrot Cake Murder at number 5.
Get
And
out.
why I defended it, and it was funny because I had some people reach out and say, "Oh, you won't say anything bad about Hallmark. You defended this movie. We didn't like it. Blah blah blah." I thought myself, I guess it kind of says where I rank the whole Murder She Baked Hannah Swanson series when I said I thought it was the best
Yeah.
because I haven't really loved any of those. Now, I will say when we go back and do our in-depth review of the series and I watch them again, maybe I'll have a picture perfect where after watching them again in succession, I'll appreciate them more. But they've just never really been one of my favorites, which is funny because I love baking. I love Epicurean. It's one of my favorite. When you go over to the
Mm-hmm.
rom-coms, one of my favorite tropes. But no, like you said, the actual mystery and the whole story just wasn't strong.
It was rough.
And but the acting, and that's kind of what I was defending in one way, was I thought the acting in it was spectacular. Allison and Cameron are both fantastic actors. So I
Yeah.
thought that really good acting. And yes, where we did disagree is I thought Hannah was standing up for herself and saying, you're not going to, steamroll me. You told me I could do this and you're not being supportive. So I supported her. That's what we brawl about. I get it. I still, I stand on my island with very few cohabitants, but yes, I agree with you. The overall mystery just wasn't the best mystery that could have been there. And the funny thing is, we've had some people reach out in some of our comments say, "I don't get it. Why they call it carrot cake murder? What where's the carrot cake?" Um,
It wasn't a big part, but
it
it
was
was
not a
there.
big part, but if they actually would have stuck a little bit more to the actual books mystery, like they could have changed it around. Like they wouldn't have kept the whole thing and it was way too convoluted, but they could have actually stayed with that where the relative comes home for the family reunion and ends up dead.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been far more compelling than, like you said, somebody from 20 years ago ending up in a elevator shaft. And yeah, there's just no connection.
Also, who's saying that you don't ever say anything bad about Hallmark movies? Because I don't know if they've seen your normal Hallmark page, or
I
they
know.
should,
I've
because
had
you are tearing it up over there.
well, what's funny is the latest one, which what was the wedding contract? Man, I just can't bring myself to watching it, and because
I'll
I
be
don't
honest, I
think
did not watch it. I can't do that
I
at
don't think I
all.
can say a good one on it. It just but I'll get to it at some point, especially now that we don't have any mysteries to watch for a while. Okay, number 5 or 4, excuse me, number 4. So we're
Number 4.
sort of smack in the middle now. Wasn't the worst, wasn't the best. It's right there in the middle. What do you got?
Okay, For me, and I watched this, I came a little late to the game on this. It's Dancing Detective Deadly Tango. That is my number 4. I have to say, so yeah, I was a little goofy. I don't know if the mystery was the best or the story was the best, but I thought that the location, of course, was amazingly beautiful. And I don't know how I feel about Lacey as a detective. It's not really the role that I'm used to seeing her in. So that's kind of growing on me. Like, she's definitely not a Brooke Burns. Oh, Brooke Burns mention. But
And I didn't even have to do it.
yeah. But see, like someone like that definitely plays a detective really well. Lacey's really good with sweet, girly characters. And I don't mean to typecast her, but seeing her in such a different role is a little bit kind of wow. And then I'm so invested in her and Brennan Elliott and the crossword mysteries that I have to admit it had by the end of the movie, her and Will Kemp had grown on me a bit, but it was tough at the beginning. It was like I just didn't like seeing it as much. He's great, love him. The acting was great. Uh, I would definitely want him to play pretend husband with me for sure. He's handsome, debonair, fancy sports car. Loved that they like did more like getting run off the road. Seemed like there were a lot more stunts like with car chases and stuff, but it was middle of the road for me because I just wasn't invested in the story really. And big company guy gets murdered because he jilted someone. Yeah, that's typical.
Okay.
What
Well,
about you? Number 4?
I had the Dancing Detective Deadly Tango too.
Stop it. Are
I think maybe
you
this is why
looking
we
at
do
my
our
brain?
podcast together. That we kind of are similar, and we usually do get along. And like I say, other than that, Hannah Swanson final 5 minutes, we usually get along.
Yeah.
But yes, so I agree with you. Dancing Tango. I thought now, what do you think of like what's the I'm going brain dead on it now. They're chocolate in
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Bruges. Like you like them
Romance
together in
and
that, right?
chocolate. Yeah, but see, her character was different. She was her normal, typical character. She was not a detective
And
or
Christmas
anything.
Waltz you like. So you do like them together. You just don't
Yeah,
the mystery just like Brennan and her from a
I think I
chemistry
just get,
mystery chemistry.
yeah, I get really hung up on the two of them together. And,
Okay.
because I like Brendan.
I know you do. I like them too. And I agree. I think they're great, but I did not have a single problem with them in it. I I didn't have a problem with Lacey being the detective. I thought it was kind of a little switch. I loved her little I loved the humor in this. I thought they did have like the little banter they had throughout it
Mhm.
was great. I really enjoyed it. I found it a very fun to watch mystery. I didn't think like you said, the actual mystery was all that great. And the whole like, and I guess they had to do it like the whole notion of a dance contest for executives. I was trying to think of what company like
Seemed out
would
of
would
place.
host such a thing, but it doesn't matter. This is Hallmark Universe, right? But
Yeah.
I just found it a lot of fun. But I just thought at the end of the day, when I go above it for my top 3, they were just better mysteries. They had me going a little bit more, and so like I said, it was perfectly fun to watch. I'd watch it again. I liked seeing the two of them. Great humor. I chuckled many times. The fashion was really, really great in it.
Hmm.
Um, that little pool scene where they dance in the water,
Hmm.
wonderful. So I have all good things to say about it, for the most part, other than other ones were just better.
Yeah.
So
That's fair.
yeah. Okay. We're in the top 3 now. So this is really where it's getting competitive. And this is where, these are ones we probably are going to be looking forward to seeing again. And it's on and being a little bit excited. So what do you have for your number 3?
It's the final
Oh, a
countdown.
little
Yeah.
Asia, huh? Right? Or no, is that Europe?
I don't know.
It's either Asia or Europe. It's a continent band. Oh, where's my wife when you need her? She knows all the hair bands.
Well, you know all the weird obscure bands, that's for sure.
At the final countdown.
I number 3 picked Curious Caterer grilling season. Stop
Okay.
it. Are you the
Yeah,
same?
I did.
Oh
I
my
know
God.
from here, there's no way we don't have the same from here on out. There's no
I
way.
don't know. We
But
might. Well,
so,
yeah, that's probably true.
okay. Curious Caterer.
Well, you tell me why you picked it for 3.
I really thought they were getting the rhythm going. Like the first, we talked about it in the review, the first one, sort of feeling each other characters out. And I thought in this one, they really had just all the characters and the way they acted together.
Yeah.
We talked about Marla and Goldie together. They were just hilarious throughout the entire movie. And then, is it Dr. Tom, right? Tom Schultz? Yeah. So detective,
Detective.
or detective, not doctor. Yeah, Detective
Her
Tom.
husband's
He
her
was,
ex-husband.
yeah, the kisser. He
Ew.
like I thought they were really getting going, and so I just thought it really got some good momentum, and the ending was kind of a shocker, and it was pretty
Yeah.
dramatic. Now, the whole silly thing, which I still have to get past, Detective Tom really has got to up his game, because in both of the Curious Caterers, Goldie pretty much had to save his butt, which, more
Hmm.
power to you, girl power, way to go, Nikki. But so it wasn't the perfect movie by any means, but it was a really good mystery, and it was kind of what I want in a Hallmark mystery. So I had a lot of
Yeah.
fun with it. So I did get, I don't know if you saw in our comments today, and it may have actually
What
been over my Hallmark movie review,
movie?
because in our
Yeah.
in our Instagram we were like, hey, how many movies have Nikki and Andrew been in together? And someone left a little DM, and they were like, I just can't get into it. They have too much of a brother sister vibe. Do you think they have, like,
I can definitely
do
see
you, do you,
why
do you
the
think they
person
have
is
that
saying
passion
that.
chemistry, or do you find them a little more comfort chemistry?
I think they seem really comfortable with each other, which is great because then it comes off. It's good and it's bad because sometimes like the passionate, like, don't know each other that well, still getting to know each other, feeling is there if they don't know each other as well, but that they've been in like a zillion movies together and they're also really good friends off the set. But also this type of movie isn't really like that, it's they already know each other and they kid with each other, so it does kind of give off that vibe a bit,
Yeah.
the brotherly sister vibe anyways, because
But
they're
you had
and
Travis
there's
and
been no
Amy getting to know each other, and yet they were not
Travis and
brother sister
Amy.
chemistry.
That
And
was different.
you didn't have
Very
that
different.
brother sister with your friend Brennan there either, and Lacey and Curious
Yeah,
Caterer. Like
because
they
there's
were
there's a level of goofiness with Andrew, even though he's very handsome, there's a level of goofiness with him that I just don't think those other actors really portray. And with Amy and Travis, it's just so much more.
now.
So
So I was thinking about it, and I thought it's just because Andrew, and you can go back to just the Three Wise Men and a Baby for proof of this. He is just like such the epitome of the all-American apple pie, I drink milk kind of
Yeah.
guy. So like that's what I was thinking. Maybe it is just that he is such a just clean cut guy next door so much that that maybe that's where he's not a smolderer, so to speak.
But these movies also are a lot more goofy than like Mystery 101. Mystery 101, he didn't have an idiot sidekick detective who was trying to ask for camera footage
No,
from a fitting room.
no.
He has a competent female detective, you know?
Well,
It's
there was the
totally
one time where she went into the whatever, heard the noise, goes into it and gets clobbered on the side of the head without calling for backup.
okay, but
That
that's
one,
more
but
of
that's
a
a little different.
logical mistake
Yeah,
than
that's different
like
than a
you're not
goofball.
you're not wondering how did she get through police
Yeah,
academy? Like, what is this?
yeah, yeah.
So,
So I don't know.
yeah.
I just find it interesting. I think they're great, and I I mean he plays kind of a serious guy in here, though they do have the definitely the moments of humor
Yeah.
through it. But he's he's the straight man in it, where Goldie and Marla are the definitely the high humor. And
Yeah.
like I say, Marla's
For
one of my
sure.
favorite characters in all the mysteries. I just love her. So okay. Um, I was going to say, do you think they'll make another one of that? Of course they will. They'll make two more. Oh, do you think they'll make another dancing detective? Do you
Oh
think
yeah, for sure.
it's going to another great location? And you know
I
what it
don't
had
know
me?
how they'll keep that dancing part, but
Yeah, that was my thing. How you can keep those legs? Like, how many dancing competitions can there be? But I'm sure they can figure out. I mean, that one didn't make sense, really. But so they can create some other one that makes Hallmark sense. Um, you know what it had me thinking of though, when he was talking about, oh, we can go to Italy, we can go to here, we can go to there, is the Dylan Neal mystery that he teased us with, where he's Lisbon, New York, and I forget what the other place was. So he did that tease like 2 months ago on Instagram that he
oh
was
yeah, was that when I did the travel pick, the you pick travel story or no?
I don't know. I just remember
Because he was
he
talking all those plots then too.
it was, yeah. So that's exciting.
Mysterious.
But that's what had me thinking about with him doing his thing, which is on hold because of the writer's strike. So that's sad.
It
Writer's
is.
strike, gotta end. Come on, studios.
Get it
All right.
together.
So I know what your number two is. Go ahead and
Oh
say it.
my gosh. It is Aurora Tea Garden, something
Absolutely.
new.
Absolutely. Can you believe that? I have an Aurora Tea Garden as my second favorite.
I can believe it, Eric, because that movie flew to the top for me too. I don't know. I just really enjoyed the fresh perspective, the story. The two leads, they all did it for me. There were some where I mean, there were some parts of it that obviously we discussed were a little lacking a bit, but like for the most part, it was all there that I wanted, and I definitely wanted to see more.
Yep, I agree. It was I thought, well written, very well acted, everything laid out good. I just, I loved the fact, and I didn't realize why I would so much, but I just loved Skylar's portrayal of Aurora as being a very logical, thoughtful, competent home sleuth who kept the police involved. I just really liked that element to it.
Yeah,
And which is funny because, these are our cozy mysteries that like we say, we go to our Hallmark universe and just whatever you take, you can suspend reality all we want. But I really thought it was good. And plus, I thought they were just, like we said, fantastic acting in it.
perfect.
So
You can tell Evan Roderick really studied that character. I mean, he, like I said, he doesn't look like Arthur, but you could have closed your eyes and you were like, that's Arthur. I mean, and I appreciate that he took the time to really do that. It shows, you know.
So over in the Facebook community, there's a Hallmark mystery Facebook group that I'm in, and um, it's just what you'd expect in Facebook. Far more, I don't want to say toxic, but just some opinions that probably shouldn't really be voiced out there, but whatever. Um, but someone did mention, I think that was over there, that they thought it would be cool if Peter Benson would have been like his dad or something, like a
But
character, just to bring back a nod, because a lot of people are complaining about Mary Lou, going back in time, and yet obviously trying to be 15 years younger, yet she's not, so she wasn't necessarily age appropriate. But
I know,
trying to
but
keep the original characters in, and like you can't keep them in as you couldn't have Peter Benson be Arthur, right? Because
yeah.
him being semi-romantically involved with Skylar would just be creepy. So, but yeah, I thought that was actually kind of a fun little, could have been a fun little twist, whether it be like a cameo or something like that, where
Yeah.
Arthur's dad like is at the diner or something, and that could have been fun. But
Well, I think Peter Benson directs stuff, so
yeah,
who's to say he's not going to direct the next one, you know?
that is a good point.
Yeah.
That is a good point. I didn't look and see if I know the writer was the same. I didn't look to see if the director was the same
Oh,
as
okay.
the original Auroras. But I do know from at least what I took from Skylar in the interview there was a lot of the crew were the people who worked on the original Aurora, so they all knew that series inside and out. But
I wonder if it was the same fashion designer or costume designer,
I don't know. We
because
can
there
look.
was a very specific one Cameron used for that. So,
Oh yeah, that's what Nicole told us.
yeah.
Um, the uh, the interesting thing too is I just think Skylar's look when we're talking about like the fashion, her hair, like
Hmm.
she just looks sleuthy to me. So I thought, and like we said, Arthur was fantastic. So there we go.
Yeah.
Very good mystery. People who are just saying I won't watch it because I don't want to see anything new from Aurora Teagarden. I only want Candace. You know what? You're really missing out, and all you're doing is hurting yourself by skipping out on this one. It is a very fun, good mystery.
Yeah, and I don't get that because I'm an OG Aurora Tea Garden stan, and I so enjoyed those movies, and I was, uh, I was so excited that they were bringing it back, and I couldn't wait to watch it.
I,
So you
well,
just gotta let it go, let
I
it go.
think some people just don't understand what a prequel is. And
Yeah.
the thing I keep throwing out there, and there's probably maybe not necessarily the most crossover, is just how there's a lot of franchises: James Bond, Batman, Star Trek. Um, you can go on and on where they've just had multiple actors who've come in and recreate the role, and they just keep rolling on and on, and it's just
Yeah.
it's what you do. I guess I'd rather have none than some, which I'm with you. I don't understand. And, for people like me who weren't fans, it was a great way to become one. So
Yes.
I think I now know what your number one is.
Hmm.
And
My jalapeno poppers are
yes.
justified.
And I have to say, as much as I liked Aurora Tea Garden, it wasn't even close. I think
Nothing
the
comes
cases of
close.
Mystery Lane was one of the best mysteries of all time.
Yeah.
I think it was such a good mystery that I would
Where is the
put it up there.
next one?
It's
What the heck
it's
is
in a
going
writer it's in
on?
a writer's strike.
Yeah, but I want Hallmark to say they're making another one, you
Well, I guess
know?
they could still say it. I mean, they said they're making the Curious Caterer, so they could just say, "Hey, we're making it."
This
You know what it
annoys
is? I
me.
think. I think it's while they're trying to figure out that cut, color, or murder, and Nikki and Nora next ones that they have to
It's
get those knocked
wishful
out of the way
thinking.
before.
I
But
hope you're right, because I'd love to have Nicole on again to
yeah,
talk fashion.
I would agree.
But yeah, this movie was just light years beyond anything else
And I
this
love the Royal
year.
Tea Garden. You know, that just
Yeah,
says how good Cases was. It was quirky. Like, that was the thing with like Dancing Detective. It was quirky and fun and goofy. And so was Cases of Mystery Lane, but it was just
had the comedy.
it just also had that story
Yeah,
that went and so many different levels. There was the relationship story with Birdie and Alden. There was the mystery. There was, all the goofy characters in it. There was the Alden, individually trying to figure out his, you know, Peter Pan syndrome, whatever. Like
yeah,
there's just so many layers that were in this story. Like we said, while the mystery per se wasn't the greatest mystery on, may not have been the best of the mystery of all of these, the story was just so good. Once again,
hmm,
mystery 101 right there. Such a good story that the mystery just has to be competent, and
yeah,
it's a great movie. So, and
agreed.
I tell you what, now we follow also Amy Garcia. She is a cutie. She is such a cutie. I've
Oh
gotten
my
into
God, I think all
Lucifer.
of these are
I keep
for
watching
you.
Lucifer. Fantastic. I watched her in some other, it was like a Netflix Christmas movie, which was not a good Christmas movie. It was not a good movie, but she was just great in it. So it was, she's awesome. And I definitely want to see her more. I think she should hopefully get into rom-com, maybe get her into one of the Christmas movies. She's you just also on Instagram, her posts are fun. She just seems like a very, very cool person.
Yeah,
So, and we
I
all
am all for it.
let's find somebody on this planet. I know we have to let your leg heal, but let's tour the entire planet and try to find someone who doesn't like Paul Campbell.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
can it be done? Is there somebody on this planet who doesn't like Paul Campbell?
Think so. Let me look.
It's like, yes, it's like, okay, Paul Campbell, Kimberly Sustad, completely universally liked. Can't dislike those two. So can
Yeah.
you imagine now,
No.
as I've just sung all the praises and like I say, love Amy Garcia, but can you imagine if they made cases with those with Kimberly and Paul? Like that may have broken the
Internet.
internet. Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. But of course, now that I've seen Amy as Birdie,
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know if I
100%.
can.
100%. I think she was the perfect cast for this. I'm not
Yeah.
saying Kimberly would have been better. I'm just saying the hype and everything, how everyone just loves, those two together. I can just watch my wedding every weekend and to get my fix of the two of them. So,
Yeah.
but which is
Can't
a
believe
great,
they haven't
great
been in
movie, by
more
the way.
together. Yes. Mhm.
So, but so yeah. All right, there we go. Essentially, I'm shocked that we were, other than our flip flop of 6 and 7, we're exactly the same. I knew we were going to have the same number one. I just knew we would there, but I'm surprised that all the others were the same as well. So
What can we have good taste?
I guess so.
Good taste.
I guess so. All
Oh,
right. Well, I'd love to hear from all of our listeners. Go head on over to our Instagram and leave us some comments and let us know what you don't have to do all 7. You can rank all 7 if you want, but go ahead and let us know what your favorite mystery has been so far this year.
Yeah. And if you're feeling really generous, we would love it if you would rate and review our podcast, because nothing brings us more joy than looking at your lovely reviews, especially if they're nice ones. Thank you.
Nothing on this planet gives us more joy. So, and that's cocktail free talk too.
Yeah. Well, it's not painkiller free, but
Yes. One of the other things that's kind of fun is we created an emoji, guess that Hallmark movie by emoji game that's available on our YouTube and our website. So you can check that out. That's a fun little one. There's, I think, 21, if I'm not mistaken. See how many you can get there. It's a little tough. I have to admit. But
yeah, I didn't get them right in some instances.
Do you know how many you got?
Well,
majority?
I'd say it was like 70%.
Okay. They're tough.
They are, especially while you're looking at it while you're at work. Not saying I was doing that, but yeah.
Priorities. So, okay. Well, there we go. Our top 7. For me, Family History Mysteries, Jane Mysteries, Hannah Swanson Mysteries, Dancing Detective, The Curious Caterer, Aurora Tea Garden, and number 1, Cases of Mr. Lane. And yours were?
It was exactly the same as Eric, except for if you just want to switch the last 2 there. I mean, we're basically aligned. So perfect. All you need to know is those top 3, really, and the rest, let them fall where they may.
Go around, give them a watch, but make sure you definitely seek out those top 3. Okay. Well, Zinni, glad you're back. Hope your knees, by the next time we talk, knees all better and you're out in the trampoline park, hopping around, doing all sorts of fun stuff.
That sounds like an absolute nightmare, Eric. Thank you.
Knocking away all those little 7-year-old kids. So,
well, that actually sounds like fun, but
the queen of the
trampoline park. On that note, I'm gonna go have a chicken pot pie, Eric, and
not jalapeno poppers, huh?
And I didn't have any. Maybe I can see if my husband will drive me to Jack in the Box.
I'm having chicken pot pie on Friday. So
stop it. See, we're just off on our
yeah, it's our Jane mystery and family history mystery. The same but different.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. All right, Sydney. Take care. Feel better.
You too. Bye.